Greetings, folks.
Episode 688. We're inching ever closer to your birthday.
Oh, that's right. We are. I thought you were going to say episode 700 or something else fun, or 678 or something like that.
No,
we already passed that.
Your B-Day.
My B-Day.
Your B-Day.
Yes.
How are you feeling about it?
Fine. I feel like I'm getting closer to actually being accurate when I say I'm 40, which I am not, and some friends of ours that are over 40 have pointed out that maybe I just quit saying that.
Yeah. I told Sarah, my friend Kelly was like, you got to tell Sarah that as somebody who is very much over 40, that you do not want to rush this. You want to savor your youth, and she just doesn't want you because then you're wasting it, you know?
Oh, well, they do say the youth is wasted on the young, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How old are you going to be?
I'll be 37.
37.
I believe.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, 37 years young. I feel great.
Uh-oh.
I feel like... I saw this really funny meme, or like a video. It was like a TikTok probably or something like that, of this woman who was like talking about like what her parents had. She was like, but when my parents were in their 30s, they were like buying their second home. They had 3 kids. They were like planning for retirement. She's like, oh, I'm just a baby.
Oh yeah. You posted that on your Instagram.
Like, I'm a baby. That's how I felt. I was like, who's going to take care of me? I have no skills.
Well, it's funny because sometimes I feel like you do what we said, where you rush and you're declaring how you're, over the hell or whatever.
Yeah.
And then other times I think you feel like
I'm never not
you're
going to
just getting started and that you haven't even, I don't know.
I'm basically a toddler. I'm an infant.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. It's that's yeah. What is that about? I don't know. But I'm excited to just get another opportunity to eat cake. Let's be real.
Heck yeah.
That's really
everybody should be eating cake all the time.
Yeah, I think that we need to do that. Just make cakes for days that aren't people's birthdays. Who says you can't just have cake? When you had some cake over at our house for Adam's birthday, I should have given it to you because then we ate cake for the next 2 days straight.
It's just so good. It's so good. I mean, I always say even just good old supermarket sheet cake, I love.
Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah, it really hits the spot.
Yes.
And even though I did a moratorium on poo stories, I will say that, I don't know if it's the elevation or what, but I didn't go for 5 days.
Oh, that's a travel thing. And I think sometimes it is dehydration in the elevation.
Man.
Yeah. That's a side effect of dehydration, that way or the other direction.
Good grief.
I'm so sorry, Sue's blocked up.
No, back to good. Back to normal over here. But boy, we were prepared. We came with our liquid IV. You had some out for us. This is not an ad. This is just me reporting the facts.
Yeah.
But sometimes these things take time.
They do.
But I'm back in the Berg and ready to bring Candy it up. Well, I guess I'll just start by talking about the old Pam Anderson documentary.
Oh, tell me everything. I want to see it so bad.
It's time. You got to dive into it.
I know, but I wanted to give it all my full attention. You know those times when you want to watch TV but also look at your phone and you're not really going to pay attention?
Yeah. I
need to be paying attention to this one.
Yeah, you got to focus. I think it was on Netflix. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. Our friend Ryan produced and directed it, and he did a really nice job. She's an interesting lady. As most of you probably know Pam from Baywatch, or maybe as the Tool Time gal on Home Improvement, or as nude in the pages of Playboy.
You may know her from the centerfolds.
She is so much more, however.
Yeah.
When did you when did she enter your cultural?
I was a big Baywatch fan.
No.
Yeah, I was. I mean, and there was a part of me that thought in a way that like I somehow was like on the in because I was like also doing like lifeguarding stuff and both my brothers were lifeguards. It was like
Sarah was watching Baywatch for the lifeguarding.
100%. And Hobie, who, side note, I ran into him. Because he lived in an area that was close to mine.
Here we go.
And I ran into him at a club once. This is so fucked up. Let me tell you the story about what this asshole did to me. We were outside of a club. And he looked at me. We're standing in line, like waiting. This was like after, I don't know, the club was like over or out or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, how much do you weigh? And I was like,
wait, were you talking to him already?
Nope. I was standing in a group in the circle next to him.
Okay.
He interrupted me and tapped me on the shoulder. How much do you weigh? And I told him I don't know, 150 or whatever I said. And then why? And he goes, because this, and he told me about how this girl that he met online, he asked her how much she weighs, and he seems like I would be right at the maximum.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Shut up.
Swear, hand to God. He was like,
what
okay.
did you say?
I was really offended.
Did you project that?
Probably not. I probably did as soon as he left.
Did you cry?
Probably not, no. But I was like, I think Hobie from Baywatch just dissed me.
That is shocking.
Yeah. He asked me how much I weighed because some other woman he met online told him how much he weighed, insane. And I was about the maximum that he'd be willing to hook up with.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, that's a fucking true story. Because how could I even make that up?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that happened to you, and okay. That would be a really weird thing to make up.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine?
Did you recognize him? You knew it was Hobie.
Yeah.
And what's his real name?
I have no idea.
Is this David Charbet or whatever the hell is that guy's name?
No clue. But it was just like the
was
LA
he a kid? On the show, was he a youngster?
Yeah, he was. He was like Mitch is like his son or something like
Mitch's son.
Yeah, or something.
On Baywatch insulted Sarah Louise Rice.
Yes. Who's laughing now? Fucking Hobie. Probably
that is so rude. This is why LA is really disgusting.
Oh, so gross. Yeah.
I can't believe that happened. Wow. Yeah,
but back to Pam, the true star of the story. Not Hobie.
Sorry. Yes. Okay, so the Pam Anderson tale is, I suppose the point would be that she's getting the opportunity to tell her story in her own words, because so often the story has been told for her and without her consent, like when they stole that sex tape from her house with Tommy Lee, and all these people profited off of it, and she made $0 and when she tried to stop it, the judge was like, well, I mean, you've been in Playboy a bunch of times, so how mad can you be that people can see you
That's
banging?
So fucked up.
Yes, it is.
Oh, God.
So I suppose the documentary is trying to right that wrong and give her the opportunity to say who she really is and if we got the story wrong about her or whatever. And she's very charming in it. She's very likable, very funny and self-deprecating and
that sounds like Susie Special. That's like everything that you love.
That is, I do. And I really like her. And I don't know. What disturbed me is just how she is just like a vessel through which we can look at the ways that men sort of really have contempt for the women that they crave. Like
the Madonna whore thing.
Kind of, but basically that they want her. They want to look at her, they want to bang her, they want her.
And they're mad.
But they're mad that they can't control that. And so they direct that self-loathing towards the object of their gaze. That's what it seems like.
Because it's like, look at how you're doing this thing and making it so I don't have control over myself. In a way, you're controlling me. And the thing I want more than anything is control. Oh.
And they want it, but then they resent the fact that she can exploit that and manipulate them and make them feel something without their consent, perhaps.
Oh,
and so
interesting.
What you see as a result of that is all these interviews, for example, that she did in like the 90s, where these male interviewers would kind of like exhibit contempt for her and focus like on her boobs and are they real? That kind of thing. Like, who cares? Number one, and obviously they are not.
Right.
And of course, as is the case with so many documentaries of about people from this time period, Matt Lauer is one of the interviewers, and he's just so contemptuous. And to see it now is so cringy because of what we know about him.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just fascinating to watch and disturbing. And she handles it so well. Like in all the interviews, she remains very unfazed by their idiocy, but it's just disturbing to watch.
Man,
you know what I mean?
Do you hear from her children or anything in the documentary?
Yeah, they're both in it. And at least one of them is a producer. I think Brandon, the older one, but maybe both of them. And they just adore her, and they have a really lovely relationship. That was another part of the film that was so disturbing, though, is, of course, I knew that she was married to Tommy Lee and had children with him, and I knew that they had this, like, whirlwind romance and kind of like that whole thing. All the paparazzi and all that. But I didn't realize that when they broke up that it was because he had abused her physically and he had gone to jail for it. I didn't remember that. Did you?
I didn't remember that part either.
I think it's probably because she still has so much affection for him and speaks fondly of him that it just didn't register that he hurt her physically. And it's just...
He went to jail
that's
for it?
Sad. Yeah, because she had to call 911 or whatever.
Oh
she was like holding her new baby in her arms.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
Yeah. And he has substance abuse issues, which I believe are still active. And so I don't think he's beaten his demons. And it's a shame because I think they really were in love with each other and that his issues prevented the longevity of that relationship. And that all of the relationships she's had since then. Remember, like when she married Kid Rock and...
Right, I forgot about that. Oh, that's still like a Tommy. That's like, I could see that. Yeah.
All of those relationships and marriages that she's had since then were kind of just silly, and that she basically can't be with anyone because the one that she really wanted blew it. And that, she had a line in the sand about physical violence, and but it's sad.
Yeah, that is really too bad.
I'll tell you what's not sad, and that is how freaking great Boll & Branch sheets and bedding are.
Here's the actually, I just read this article that said, I think it was in the New York Times, that talked about how we need to be getting rid of stuff way, like especially bed linens and things like that. That bacteria and all this gross stuff grows at rates that are way faster than we think. And I know that you guys are still using those pillowcases from like when you were in college. Get rid of them. Get some new sheets.
I hate to admit it, but I would fall in that category because I really do me too. I believe in using things up and like not wasting, but sometimes you have to know when the line is. Right.
And most of the time it's I could tell you where to start. Start with your bed sheets.
Start with your bed sheets and try Boll & Branch. Here's why you'll like them. No harsh chemicals, none of that grossness that a lot of companies use on fabrics.
Oh, yeah.
No toxins, no pesticides. And one thing I know Sarah loves is that the sheets have those top and bottom tags.
Oh, it took us way too long
That's all we
figure
ask,
that one out.
really.
I
Yeah.
don't have the time. And I've never put it on. I barely put my shirts and pants on the right direction. You think I'm going to get a sheet? No. So just label it for me. Thank you.
Well, and you know how like influencers always refer to things as buttery? Everything's
God, that's
buttery
hilarious.
soft.
Yes.
And I'm always like, quit saying that. Well, now I'm like, wait, these are.
These are buttery soft.
And I'm going to have to say it because it's true. And I'm sorry, but that's an accurate descriptor. So deal with it. And they're organic. I mean, very
Lovely.
breathable, great for winter and summer. They just are classic and wonderful. And they make your bedroom feel like a fancy coastal grandmother.
You know what I
Okay.
got? All white.
Yes, that's
So
what
that-
Adam said. He goes, we want white.
I want all white. It looks nice. We needed a white sheet set.
Well, and I love that there's a 30-night risk-free
nice.
guarantee. So just try them and see if I'm telling the truth. And you'll be like, okay, they really are buttery. Make the most of bedtime with Bowl and Branch sheets. Get 15% off your first order when you use promo code BRAINCANDY at bowlandbranch.com. Exclusions apply. See site for details. That's Bowl and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com, promo code BRAINCANDY. These are really nice. You'll love them. Okay, so then I guess it was a melancholy film though for me. Like it feels a little bit sad. Like she didn't get super rich off of Baywatch. Like she doesn't have a lot of money.
And I feel like that was
bad
before
choices.
residual, like before the writers went on, before everybody went on strike and things changed, right?
I'm sure she gets money from it, but like it was the number one show on the planet.
Oh my God.
Mainly because of her.
Obviously.
And so whatever she was getting.
You think it was, oh, you know what? And
It wasn't
that's actually
Hobie.
fucked up that, think about all that, what's his name got to do. You know, Mr.
Oh my
Sad
God.
Hamburger guy? David.
Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Sad hamburger guy.
Yeah. David Hasselhoff. Didn't he like cry on the floor eating hamburgers one time or something? Yeah. So like David Hasselhoff is like there like breaking down the Berlin Wall or whatever the hell he's doing. And
Listen to all these references. But she's not wrong.
I know. Those
Very
are
popular
all
in Germany.
Things that really happened, are they not? So,
Yeah.
At least I think I was like
We're
10
in like a
when all this
90s
happened,
time
so-
capsule right now.
Yeah, yeah, and Pam, nothing.
No, not really. I mean, not enough. And
Not
she just
enough.
lives in Canada with her parents. Like, they're living, she's taking care, like they're
okay,
older and she's trying to help them and everything. I don't know. It just seemed a little bit like melancholy, but she is at peace. Like, she's not
that's
melancholy.
Good. That's good.
It just
She
seems
just
like
wants
she
a
got a bad
simpler
deal.
life.
I think so. I think she's just like, well,
that.
it didn't work out with Tommy and I have these beautiful sons and I'm just fine. And it's enough.
Yeah.
But I recommend it because it does make you introspective about that time period in pop culture, which was sort of gross.
Yeah.
And the ways that she tried to empower herself, like for PETA, she's a vegan or a vegetarian, one or the other. And she's like really passionate about her like charitable work. And she tried to make it work with the way that people saw her as just like a sex object only.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my
well,
review.
I can't wait to watch. I'm looking forward to that. She's so beautiful. I love her.
Yeah, she is. And it's even more beautiful how she's self-deprecating and comical and like playful. Like she's not a fussy.
Like I saw Ryan White's poster. He's like, I'm so glad we all learned how funny Pam is, even though she's going to turn down all of the roles that would get asked to like do that are like great, like comedic roles.
Yeah. She's deeper than she lets on.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
my
sure. Anybody who's like
interpretation.
self-deprecating like that, smart enough to be, is smart.
I gotta say though, I don't think we talked about this, but one of my New Year's resolutions was to be less self-deprecating because most people aren't smart enough to get it.
Oh.
Like they just think I mean it and that they should believe it. And
Got it.
people don't give me any credit. And I'm
be
so
less.
sick of it.
Yeah, be less.
Do you think that's good? Do
Yeah,
you think
I do.
I should?
I think for you,
Okay.
for sure. A lot of people need to. You need less.
Really?
For sure.
Okay. I'm going to try
Yeah,
it.
because it
It's
doesn't
so
give people
hard.
the opportunity to really like praise you and give you acknowledgement for what you do and accomplish.
Thanks,
You're like,
Sarah.
blah, blah, blah.
Well, right. Okay,
That was
well,
like
just
a
keep that in
perfectly
mind.
accurate Susie Abrams.
It was. That was why it's so funny. Okay, well, if I forget, you have to tell me.
Okay. Ooh, good. I will.
Okay, hold me
I
accountable.
support this.
Okay. This is a debate. This is a classic Susie Sarah kind of like, what do we feel about this?
Okay.
Washington Post put out an article. I think someone sent it to me. Thank you, Brainiac, if you sent this to me. It was about a woman who is in a custody dispute, and she has a new baby with the ex-husband. And the ex-husband said that she essentially was weaponizing breastfeeding as a way to like prevent him from having time with this child.
We call it gatekeeping. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's a real thing. And new moms do
Yes.
it like crazy. We see it in therapy. Oh, like that is a thing.
Right. So they will argue in custody like, oh no, I have to breastfeed. And so I'm sorry, I can't give you this time or whatever it is. And so the judge ordered her to stop breastfeeding. And, okay. So,
excuse me? Have
Well, 'cause
we
she
not
claimed-
heard of a million different workarounds?
she claimed that she doesn't produce enough milk when she pumps. But that to me sounds like, a gatekeeper scenario.
Yes, it does.
Because if it's really about the breast milk,
Yes.
mostly, I'm sure bonding and all that, but but if it's mostly about the nutrients or whatever you think, then it seems like, now, what do I know though? I never had problems with pumping. Maybe some people can breastfeed but not pump. I've never heard of that though. Usually breastfeeding would be harder than pumping.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't require a latch.
Right.
So, I think the article was designed to kind of skew more towards the woman's side and to say, like, that's insane. Like,
Right.
breastfeeding should be allowed and that it's important to people for a lot of reasons. But my takeaway was more like, seems like it's awesome that the dad wants time with the baby. That's like,
Right. Love that.
We usually are critical of the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And that there are workarounds but it's hard to know what's true because I'm not there when she's breastfeeding or pumping or anything like that.
Right. And I
What do you
feel
think?
like we got to look at, shouldn't it all be in the best interest of the child? And
Well, and that's the
feels
thing.
like-
It's murky because breastfeeding's awesome. So is seeing both of your parents if
Right.
you can.
And I feel like if mom were like, Dad, this is in the best interest of the child, then she would put I don't know what's involved in pumping, but it feels like that would be something that you would be able to
Accommodate.
accommodate. I think it's insane for a judge to say you can't breastfeed.
I think
And I
it
don't
was
think
sort
he's
of
saying she can't breastfeed as much as she's saying, that's where it's like, he's not saying you can't do that. He's saying your
that can't
partner
prevent this child from
has the legal right to see this child that percentage of the time. And in the same way, feeding schedules are accommodated.
we got to all work together
We
here.
got to work together here. This is co-parenting. They need
It
some
sucks.
co-parenting
I wouldn't want to
therapy.
be in that position. It sucks for everybody,
Yeah.
and it's not ideal.
No.
Ideal is for you to be able to do whatever you want with your kid and your husband and your partner, your wife.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're dealing with.
And I could see the headline saying, judge orders woman to stop breastfeeding, and people being like, what? And then not really hearing it all out.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's a situation where the child is in danger from one parent.
Well, and that's the other thing is that some people aren't able to breastfeed, and sometimes the breastfeeding culture can make you feel like you're failing or that your child is going to suffer. Yeah. And I hate all that too. Like I breastfed, but I really don't like that line of reasoning because there's a million reasons why people aren't able to or can't or whatever, don't want to.
Yeah. A whole bunch.
So everyone gets real judgy when it's moms involved and kids and I see it on Instagram all the time. Like you shouldn't be letting your kid use that blanket and shut up.
Absolutely. Yeah, if your sentence starts with a should, you should fucking can it.
Shut the fuck up. Can it.
That's why we made this sweatshirt. Can it.
Can it.
Because this is not the first time we've had this problem.
I'll tell you what I can't can it about, and that is the game Let's Get Deep by the creators of What Do You Meme? How freaking great is this game?
Oh, these are so fun. Well, this is funny because I did not know this was going to be one of our sponsors. And I've been a long time user. And Susie was like, oh, she came over to my house and she like looks through the game closet and she's like, oh, did it come in the mail? And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And she's like, this game. And I'm like, the game that I've been playing for years? Yeah, I ordered it a while ago. So
how did you hear about it?
Well, I got so there's this great couples game, this like get to know you, like it's called Let's Get Deep. And it's this like get to know you question game. And I used it in a past relationship to like spark conversation. And now I use it with couples for couples therapy when they like need to.
Are you serious?
Absolutely, I do. I used it with Jeff on our This Changes Everything podcast as a get to know each other game that he and I both played, and we answered those questions. And so there's fun different games from this company, and one of them is like if you are a fan of like the internet or social media, you will love this. Or if you watch the internet and social media and you are not a fan of it, you will also love this. It's super fun. That's the thing.
And it's perfect for this time of year because Let's Get Deep is the game. It's the specific one. And it's like a hot game for couples.
Yes.
And, it gets people talking. And even though it's like funny to be scandalous or whatever, it actually is helpful.
Yes.
To like learn and grow and communicate with your partner. But I mean, it's a hoot, of course. They have an After Dark expansion pack that I really feel like...
Well, I want that. I don't have that.
Those are 200 extra spicy cards.
Well, I want the extra spicy cards.
Yeah, Sarah loves extra spicy.
Always.
It's just perfect for a game night. It's so fun.
And like, you don't want to do the same boring thing with your partner that you've been doing forever? Like, oh, what are we going to do? Watch something else on... It's like stream another TV show? No.
Because you'll learn stuff.
Like, you'll learn stuff.
What celebrity would you want to have a threesome with or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not just stuff like that. Like, if you could redo your current career, what would you pick? And I think that it helps you as a person learn about yourself too.
Well, all the studies show that the thing that keeps couples that have been together for a long time, what is it that's like the real glue that holds the relationship together? And it's a curiosity about each other. Maintaining a curiosity and maintaining an interest in your partner is what keeps you guys going. You know what's
funny, Sarah?
What?
That's how I feel about us because I'm always like learning new things about you.
Yeah. Same.
Constantly. I'm like, what? Hobie insulted you? But you guys you people. Stop saying guys, Suze. Y'all folks, y'all are in luck because we have an exclusive offer for our listeners. For a limited time, get 20% off with code BRAINCANDY when you go to whatdoyoumeme.com/letsgetdeep.
Yes.
That's what you do. Let's get deep and use code BRAINCANDY. Again, to get 20% off, go to whatdoyoumeme.com/letsgetdeep and use code BRAINCANDY. So let's get deep, literally.
Yes.
Isn't that fun?
They have like deep, deeper, and then like extra deep or something like that. Like they have like different levels so you can like,
Sarah loves it extra deep.
I do. What can I say? I'm not the only one.
No, I mean, yeah.
I'm only human.
Okay. Next up. So I feel like we're on the same page about the custody thing.
Yeah, totally.
Which I didn't expect.
Oh, what do you think I was going to say?
Well, I think maybe most people have the instinct to be like, what? I'm on the woman's side.
Right.
And maybe I am, but I don't.
Because I've seen this play out and how women do this, and it's hidden behind this motherly, like, I'm doing right by the child, but it's really,
it's almost like they're exploiting the stereotype of the mama bear.
Yeah.
That whole thing, like, that society puts on moms. Mm-hmm. Like that there's some different
maybe there's
animal.
Some layers to that too, because like, what would it mean if you didn't do this? And then if your whole identity is like, I have to be the perfect mom who does all this right, then it might feel by not doing that somehow you're failing.
Yeah. And I get that.
Yeah, I can definitely understand it. That it always comes from a place of like good intention. Like nobody's like, oh, I really want to. I mean, very rarely are people like, oh, I really want to fuck this person over. Hang on, let me gatekeep my baby. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's usually like, I care so much and I feel panicky or scared letting my partner do this, or maybe it's like I feel like I'm not going to connect with whatever it is. There's a whole bunch of different layers to it, but
yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's complicated. There isn't sort of like, oh, the answer is this,
and the answer is definitely not in the headline to that story, which is judge
orders mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. How about how there is this? I guess there's a lot of Instagram accounts with people who have disabilities. Okay. Maybe they're in a wheelchair or whatever. And I think that one that I read about in particular is a gal who I think she's promoting like maybe clothes or something that would be great for people like her. Uh-huh. And she was mad that Instagram doesn't do enough to sort of prevent regular, like just people on Instagram from sort of, I guess there's disability fetish people.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like super into gals in wheelchairs or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they, of course, leave comments or they like...
Welcome to the internet. I'm sorry.
Sarah, how are we agreeing about everything?
This is what happens when you hang out with me in real life. Like, you just rubbed off on me, and it's like, now I'm just Susie. I'm just like, yeah, I'm sorry.
This is not good for the show. This is not good.
No,
we used to be the odd couple. Now we're just the couple.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I thought I was going to have to fight with you.
Because people get creepy and freaking weird about anything.
Well, especially towards women. I mean, welcome to being a woman online. Yeah.
Pregnant women remember when you were pregnant, you were like, you used to tell me, you said you could tell the difference between the guys who were being nice and the guys who had fetishes. And you were like, there's a difference between how they held my door open or did something, and I hated it.
You could see them giving you the hungry eyes when you were 9 months pregnant. It's like a certain kind of guy is like real into it. And it's not subtle.
No.
And I would like to be mad at someone about that too, but I can't because that is life in this world. And
there's always going to be that. And also,
yes,
if you were to look at regular models, just take any clothing model, like a swimsuit model or whatever, and you looked at the percentage of comments that she got that were in the same, vein, like just profane and maybe just like, I don't know, sexualizing them or objectifying them in some way. I bet the percentages would probably match up.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not, most people don't enjoy that.
Yeah.
But it's the price of...
Think about some pictures you've posted. And what people have said. I mean, I don't have big tits, so nobody says anything about them. But if I did...
I bet they talk about your booty.
Yes, they do.
Booty-ish.
for sure. I remember I would put up pictures from me going to CrossFit. And I had one that was like slow motion of me just like, I didn't even mean to record it in slow motion, but one, it did. And somebody was just like, oh, I've watched this 1,000 times to watch your ass jiggle, blah, blah, blah. You know, which, hello, I love it. Yeah, watch that shit.
Why do they have to tell you that though?
Right. Well, I don't
That's
know. Look
the
at me.
part
I'm
I
like,
don't
I love
get.
it. So here I am saying like, but then I'm like, don't, you know. But, so yeah, I think that this is just, it feels gross because it's for something like that. It's such a, I don't know.
That's the thing. That's what I want to know. Get to the bottom of is like, when I read that there are people with a disability fetish, my gut reaction was like, ugh, why are you weird? Stop being weird. I feel like this about foot fetishes and everything else too. It's not just disability. Right. I basically hate fetish. And this is probably from what we talked about last week the other day.
Right. It is
where I'm
that.
Just like,
because Susie hates regular kissing. Like you don't even have to be like, it doesn't even have to be outside of like the most heteronormative box. She's like, hate it. That's too much for me. Stop that.
Stop touching each other. Yeah. And it's probably because of the way I grew up. So I get it.
Yeah, okay. So that's probably, we have to think about it. That's probably like that. Yeah, I think that it's an unfortunate part of the internet and that it has to be like that. But until...
Well, so she was arguing that Instagram and probably other social media does not do enough to accommodate for people who are being harassed for just sort of existing online. And I just disagreed. I feel like they do a lot. You can make your account private. You can limit what people can say. Like you can mute words and phrases. Yeah. I've muted every synonym for boobs. Every synonym. And then someone will come up with another one and I'm like, oh God, I didn't think of that one.
Yeah.
I remember somebody said when they could see my nips that I was smuggling raisins. I was like, now I got to add raisins to my
my gosh,
muted
that's right.
words.
Might as well get erasers while you're out there, while you're there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But like that's just how it is. And people are gross.
Sometimes, it's funny because the internet over polices in some places and under in others. There was a bird watching sanctuary, like a bird sanctuary, that recently got shut down for a week because they kept tweeting about woodcocks, which is a real bird.
That's great.
I thought they were playing this game on Wait, Don't Tell Me, where they're like, guess what bird it was, and I guessed that they were tweeting too much about tits because that's a bird. But
no,
it's woodcocks.
Or like the whatever booby. Remember?
Blue-footed boobies.
Yeah.
Can we just which made me then go, what's happening in what is it, ornithology or whatever? Those guys are freaks.
Are
everything
birders
after
okay?
Like dicks and tits.
For real.
Pecker?
Birders are disgusting.
Yeah. You guys are all out there watching bird porn.
I mean, to be honest with you, this woman's experience feels like equality. Like she is getting what everybody gets.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, I'm with you on this one. Because you're not going to make the internet stop being fucking
You're not going to make
gross.
Humans civilized because some of them are just disgusting for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
So I want her to can it because and the other thing is, this was probably my favorite part, is that one of the items of clothing that one of the categories is like lingerie. So she's posting. I buried
you can't
the lead.
post thirst traps.
I buried the lead.
And then be mad when people are drooling.
Yeah, lady, you're hot. Just accept it.
Yeah, just accept it. You're a hottie.
Listen, we're only human. What if we go to her page and we're like, whoa, she is sexy?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, no.
I can't imagine this interview helped the problem.
No, it didn't.
Because all the weird wheelchair fetish people are probably like, what's the handle? Oh, goodness. So I bet her followers increased. But anyway, just stop complaining.
Yeah, well, and I'm glad maybe that you're... this sounds so like that female chauvinist pig kind of thing where like
we are.
Maybe it's good that you are profiting off of the way that I don't know. There's maybe more.
That's what Pam did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is like.
It's just the fact of this is how it is in the world. And I wish we could get rid of it. And that no one had to ever feel uncomfortable.
No women are making her feel creepy.
I would argue that that's probably
So guys, stop it. And I actually mean guys.
Weird.
Stop being weird.
Yeah.
Not you.
But since we can't stop it, you have to make peace with it. I'm sorry. Or make your account private. That's the way it goes.
I'm with you. I'm totally on the Susie train today.
I'll tell you what train I'm on, and that's Athletic Greens.
Even more important than the Athletic Greens, I want to put that aside.
Okay, go ahead.
I have been told and I think maybe it's, I don't know, because I'm like pasty white, and maybe it's because like, I don't know, I live like in a place where it's like in the mountains, or maybe it's like snowy, sunny. I don't know what the problem is. I don't get enough vitamin D is my whole point.
Oh, yeah.
Why haven't I been taking vitamin D like this for my whole entire life?
Oh, for big time.
What? I don't even want to. What? I don't know. This makes so much sense. Just one little drop in my tongue. I basically have a lifetime supply of vitamin D. I will never have to worry about that. Next time I go get my blood checked or whatever they do to tell me that, they're going to be like, you are looking great. And now I have Athletic Greens to thank. So thank you, Athletic Greens.
I swear it's like in the bylaws of Pittsburgh that once you're born, you get like a pacifier and then you get like vitamin D because you're not going to get enough if you live here. So you have to supplement.
Yeah.
But yes, after what happened to my mom in December, I think I even said on the show how like the Andy Warhol documentary where he kept saying health is wealth got burrowed into my brain. And then when she got sick, I was like, I get it. That is true. It doesn't matter if you're rich or famous or whatever. If you're not healthy, you have nothing.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's not true. I shouldn't say that. It's not that you don't have anything. It's just that it's so important and the effects are so numerous.
I'll say if you're not alive, you have nothing. So,
right. I just want to, that is one of my priorities and it's so important to me. And I just have been making a lot of changes and Athletic Greens is one of them. So I just do it every morning. Mm-hmm. I told Sarah I had packed on a few pounds because Adam had been making this oatmeal that just was like, it was like a dessert.
Yeah. Delicious.
And I had to stop
cream
it.
is like the number one ingredient.
Cream and syrup. Yeah. Okay. I'm like Elf over here. And so I was like, this has got to stop. So Athletic Greens is a much better choice. Yeah. Just take it every day and you'll feel better. And it's so good for you. And it's just like, instead of having to worry about like, am I getting enough of this, enough of that? Just like one-stop shop type of deal.
Get all your nutrition.
So they have a deal. Speaking of deal, they have a deal for you. If you're looking for an easier way to take supplements, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D.
I'm telling you, you guys are just going to change everything.
Did you hear what I just said? Free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/braincandy. That's athleticgreens.com/braincandy and check it out.
I've been very popular in, our house because Eli was already going to order this.
No.
Yeah. He had no idea. And he asked me, he has 2 friends who are doctors and like, they're always talking about like, what's the latest thing? And
yeah.
And so they take Athletic Greens and it's like a subscription, like it shows up like, we don't want to think about stuff. We want to just have a routine. And he's so good at having a routine.
Yeah. I don't want to think about it.
I don't want to think. I want just like every day, give him the same thing. And it just comes and it's just like set. And so when it showed up, he was like, wait, did you know that did you already? And I was like, sponsor. So I got so many points.
Sarah's flexing.
Yeah. Totally flexing.
Yeah, you can like mix the powder into like ice cold water. It's very refreshing. First thing in the morning, get started.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the scoop on that. And next up, I want to talk about the millennial pause.
I'm so glad you are. I can't stop thinking about it now. This is so interesting. Susie introduced me to this on our trip, and I did not know. It's one of those things that I didn't know I did, but now I can't stop thinking about it.
Okay, so actually, I didn't even bring it up at your house Eli did about how, like, what was the video he was showing? It was some video of you.
We were talking. He was doing an impression of how I do
Oh my God, your cameos.
My cameos. Which, by the way, if you go to cameo.com/Sarah Rice or I'm Sarah Rice or something like that,
right.
You can get a cameo and you can know exactly what we're talking about. It's very fun.
He was saying, he goes, hey, Sarah, you got a cameo that came through. If you want to do it, we can all watch. And he was like teasing her because, like, wouldn't it be funny if we were the audience of her cameo? And then he did an impression of her and he did this sort of slight pause at the beginning and then launched into it. And I was like, oh, the millennial pause. And Sarah was like, what's that? And I was like, oh, there's this thing that went viral about how, like, millennials, when they start recording or whatever they're doing on their phone, they're broadcasting somehow, they pause briefly, a TikTok or whatever, just a millisecond to make sure they're recording and they're ready to go. Like, okay. And
I can't believe it. It's like I can't unsee it now. You just, like, introduced me to, like, Helvetica or Off-White paint, and now it's, like, everywhere.
It's very relatable.
Yes.
And then after that virality, then there was sort of responses, and I think there was the Gen Z. Let me see what it's called.
Like a shake or something. What'd you call it?
Yeah, the Gen Z shake, which is where they just push record and they're not even ready, and so the phone shakes and they have to, like, adjust it and get it all set up, and then it's almost as if they couldn't wait another second. They had to tell you something.
Yeah. And you're, like, seeing a little bit of, like, the behind the scenes. Like,
yeah. What? And the article that I had read about it said that, like, both of these things are totally avoidable and also removable. Like, if you are recording a video, you can take out the first millisecond or two. And so the inclusion of it and the willingness to keep it in is almost as if you want people to know that, like, you're either being intentional.
Let me be very clear. It's just me being lazy because there's no way I'm editing that first second out. I have to, like, open up another program for that.
True. So. Yeah, you're being efficient.
Yeah.
But the articles are arguing that these approaches are two different relationships with the internet, and that millennials grew up interacting with video and social media, but in a much slower and more purposeful way. And that they're taking time out of their lives to make this content that they're going to share with you, rather than Gen Z, who is just, like, living in the moment and they're living the content. Their content is 24/7, and that they grew up in this frictionless, fast cycling, like, world of TikTok.
Wow.
And that they accept that everything is online and that there is no line between them.
Right. Well, I'm going to try to do the Gen Z shake.
We should, when we're promoting this episode, we should be like,
but
I hate it. I prefer
hi guys, Sarah here. Just wanted to catch you. I'll be out of breath.
I just thought of this. But they're, like, they're bullshitting.
Yes.
Even, you know how there's that debate between, like, the millennial sort of, like, polished Instagram feed versus, like, Gen Z, where they're like, it almost looks like they Fiona Apple video criminal, where it's just like, they're like, they look ugly and everything's, like, gross and their clothes are on the floor.
You know what they all look like? A Vice magazine spread from the 90s or, like, 2000s. You know how Vice magazine used to be, like, before they had a television show, when they were just still, like, Vice, like, seedy magazine that was like, this is what people on drugs look like. That's what I felt like.
Yeah, like the party scene.
Like,
and just,
beautiful, like, people on drugs.
You're too busy getting high to clean up your room.
Yes. Yeah, it's always messy in the background.
I don't love that. Like, but that's just because I didn't grow up with that, and so I'm repulsed by it. I'm just like, because I don't buy that it's authentic. It's supposed to look authentic, but I don't think it is.
Remember when you were telling us about that there's another kind of shit, like, where they're, like, trying to make it look almost like the camera, like, it's blurry, like they're turning the camera, but
out of focus.
Yeah, but it's very intentional.
It is.
Like,
so I would rather something be
filter.
Self-evidently like purposeful and that, you know, clearly that this is not off the cuff. I would rather have that than this pretend off the cuff.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh my God. We don't disagree about
God.
anything.
There will
Maybe
be
it's
no
because you're
debate.
40 now.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's
Now
it.
that Sarah's
I'm in the
40.
fucking 40s, you know? Am I 37 or 38?
You're 37. What is
37,
wrong with you?
That's
Aren't you?
Yeah. I was born in
Because
86.
if you are 38, then you are 40.
Right. I was born in 86. We're set. 37. Because this is an odd year.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Look, it's hard. They
What
always
is,
ask
math?
whenever, when we go skiing, and, you know, they'll, like, scan your pass, and you can't tell because you're, like, wearing goggles and everything. So they want to make sure nobody's, like, borrowing somebody else's pass. So they'll ask you, like, when your birthday is or whatever. But last time they just asked me how old I was. And Eli goes, ask her something she knows.
I get it.
Yeah. And then
Maybe
he goes,
it's-
well, what date? And I go, 2/25/86. And I was like,
Like it's an emergency.
right. But you don't know how old you are? Like,
She Gen Z shaked
because I
it.
paused. He was like, how old are you? And I was like, and then I was like, 36. And then he asked me again when my birthday was. And I go, and Eli was like, she doesn't know. She doesn't know how
I think
old, but
it's-
she knows the date.
Would you say that it's from all the dad grass that you've smoked?
No, because that doesn't really affect your memory. Just chills you out.
That is so true. That's not the hard stuff. Dad grass is for a nice mellow toke.
Yeah. Just like chill. You want to hang out? You don't want to have your memory lost? You want to remember your birthday? Dad grass it up.
That's what I'm saying. Just dad grass it up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's sweeping the nation. Everybody. I told Dad, you know, Modern Dad on
Yes.
Instagram. Yes. I told him that I had to send him something, and I asked him for his address, and he was like, "Is it dad grass?" I was like, "Yeah, Modern Dad grass." That's what it's called. But here's the thing. Dad grass is legal in all 50 states.
Yes.
So even you people like me that live in states where they're still fussy about these types of things, the THC levels on dad grass are so low that it's illegal.
Yes. And it's not
And-
going to make you feel all like funky woo woo. It's just going to like mellow you out. It's got the good stuff in it to give you just like that nice mellow toke, you know?
Yeah. High in CBD, low in THC. And it's just fun. It's so fun to I bring it when I meet up with my friends, and everyone gets so excited as if we're like,
Yeah, it sounds
rebels.
like naughty, right? You're like, oh, let's
Right.
go smoke some dad. Let's go smoke this totally legal in all 50 states stuff that if the cops were to catch us with, they would probably take a
they
drag.
would join in. Yeah.
Because my brother, his friend who is a cop, absolutely did that.
See? It's true. It's for everybody. It's just fun and it's nice. And they have tinctures and gummies and the actual little, what do you call it? Joints.
Yeah.
Like, what do you call those things? It's just fun. Right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/braincandy. Go to dadgrass.com/braincandy for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/braincandy. Did I smoke one now? Okay. So yeah, I think it's funny to talk about the Gen Z shake and the millennial pause, and I prefer the pause, but that's just me.
Obviously.
Yeah, man.
It's just put together. It's polished. It shows the separation between regular life and content, and I totally understand why Gen Z doesn't do that.
Remember how I told you, like, you know how I feel about some of the people on TikTok and what happens on TikTok?
Yeah.
And the way that things become like runaway trains.
Yeah.
I had to tell Sarah about the Idaho murder. She didn't even know about it. Those 4 people that were murdered. And like this was all over the media and TikTok and whatever, mainly because all of them were white and that's how that is. Did you see that thing? I forget where it was now, but they created this thing you could put in your demographics. Like I'm white, I'm wealthy or whatever you are. And it would say how long they would talk about you on the news if you went missing.
Oh my God.
Because if you're a wealthy white woman with blonde hair, I mean, it's just like wall-to-wall coverage.
Right.
under a certain age, like I'm on the cusp right now. Like if I go missing in a few years, it'll be less coverage because I'll be like just old over the hill. But anyway, okay. So because these people were white and young and beautiful and at college, it was just constant coverage. And so then TikTok gets involved, and you know how it is. All these weirdo people that think that they're going to solve the murder. And then because of that Gabby Petito situation, they were sort of validated because I think there were some things that were found out because of their like obsessive coverage. But like it's almost like the broken clock thing. I mean,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I think it probably obstructs justice more than it helps.
Thank my God, we really do agree about everything. Like, I'm so happy if you can get a murder solved from any means.
Totally.
But Sarah and I feel that usually you're going to get in the way of what's the word? Effective
justice.
Detecting.
Yeah. Policing. Like it's, and you know, what if you, I don't know, use your like internet sleuthing and you're like, oh, I should go interview this person, or talk to this person, or find this person. Then you talk to him first and then scares them off, or like,
right.
You know,
like they get wind that like people are on their trail.
Yes.
Yeah. Good point, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I only bring that up because I separately have criticized how, like, is it Gen Z or maybe millennials or both are obsessed with Easter eggs. And I've teased on the show about how I'm like, I love Easter eggs. I just hate when it's like, it means they're gay. Like how they think Harry Styles is gay because of like some 2-second clip of a video from 15 years ago that they unearth. Mm-hmm. And one of our brainiacs sent me an article in the New York Times about the history of Easter eggs. It was really
interesting.
Cute. Yeah. And I love Easter eggs. Isn't it fun if you spot something in a movie or whatever that's like a nod to like something about
Pixar
whatever.
does a great job of this.
Can you think of an example? Yeah. I know they do that.
In the toy bin, so the dentist's office from Finding Nemo, the dentist, they're all in the fish tank at the dentist's office. Yeah. And in the toy box at the dentist's office are Buzz and Woody.
See, I love that. That's adorable.
So cute.
And I love the intentionality of it. And someone had to think of it, and then it went to all the trouble of doing it. Like, that's just fun.
Yeah.
But it was saying how Easter eggs, initially, it was in a video game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ready Player One writes about this.
Yes. Ready Player One, I think, was mentioned in the article.
Yeah, because that is a movie about a video game, and you have to find the Easter egg in the video game to win, and then the whole thing, and it's all about that. Yes.
Yeah. And
which
the
is probably based on the first one.
Easter egg, what?
Which when that movie was written, it was probably based on that first Easter egg. That's exactly what you're talking about, the original.
Yeah, there was some story about how in the 80s there was this video game designer, and he was either bored or he was limited somehow in his role. And so he was like, I'm going to show them. I'm going to put in this secret room. And like it was his way of gaining agency and having a voice or whatever. And it's cute. And it got really popular, and now people sort of look for them. But then there's this subgroup of people that are like obsessed with them. And my only criticism was about how, like, Taylor Swift fans, you know, like, thought her song Lavender Haze, lavender is the color of, like, I don't know whether it's trans or, like, some LGBT, whatever. Yeah. And, like, she's trying to tell us that she's bisexual, whatever. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It doesn't help that K-pop artists or groups are using Morse code in their music videos to hint about upcoming albums and things like that. So young kids are learning Morse code so that they can figure out what they're saying. And they actually are. doing this. It's not like they think they are. They really are doing that in their music videos. I think that's
cool.
Yeah. So like that's like a new thing. I was just listening to NPR and having them talking about this.
Okay. I'm into. Like if you can sort of manipulate a trend for good, I mean, that's cool.
And now like teenagers are communicating in Morse code and their parents can't understand and they're like going to their grandparents for like teaching them the language or whatever.
That's
the code.
Cool.
Yeah.
This was saying that like Easter eggs flatter consumers' sense of themselves as being nobody's fool. That like they start to feel like, I know what's up and you don't. And
I feel like a true Pixar fan because I know about that toy chest.
Okay.
Well, it makes you feel like, yeah, like you're part of some like special know-it-all group.
I guess what always ends up happening to me and why I'm always like curb your enthusiasm, is because it just seems like it's not a good use of your time if you're spending hours and hours trying to decode Taylor Swift's Instagram.
Correct.
Well, and that's what people did with those Idaho murders.
This is what we will look for. I feel like there's a Bible quote about this. Like if you look for evil, you'll find, or if you look for like wherever, if you search for that, you will find it, what you are searching for. And so I think that's one thing that we're just like looking through things with a really like biased lens when you're like in that place.
If it's something like a Taylor Swift album, it's pretty much harmless and just kind of a waste of time. But when you're talking about murders and you think, oh, I know, which is what happened like on TikTok, some idiot decided it was the professor at the college who teaches about crime and then went online and said she did it. And she was like, I wasn't even in the state.
Oh, God.
And then ruins her life.
That's a big fucking problem. Those people should get in trouble for that.
Yeah, she's
because isn't that technically like, what do they call? Not tampering with evidence.
Libel and defamatory.
Yeah, but also like something like obstructing justice or something like that. Obstruction of justice.
I'm sure it could be.
Yeah. Check,
that professor's life, it's, you know, she's being defamed and
that's awful. Yeah.
Whatever. It's awful. Okay. But anyway, so it's like kind of like balance. You can be a fan. You don't have to be a fanatic. And the bottom line is that especially with someone like Taylor Swift, who so masterfully leverages online culture. I mean, she's very good at what she does.
Right.
They're trying to sell you something. Right. So like, maybe keep that in mind. Like that's okay. Everyone's got to make money. We have ads, whatever. It's just that like, stop getting so invested in this stuff.
Right.
Because she just wants to sell a goddamn album.
Right. There's no special magical award for figuring it out first.
No. Anyway.
There's nothing to figure out.
Let's wind it down.
We talked about so much.
I know. I'm sorry. I had a lot
What are you sorry for? This is great. This is what we want to do. Brain candy. We're learning.
Was I self-deprecating just then?
Yes.
I'm so stupid. Why do I keep talking? The biggest takeaway from this episode was Hobie.
Hobie's an asshole.
For me.
Yeah.
What's he up to?
I know. We should definitely look.
We should invite him on the show.
Oh, see if he remembers.
And then be like, hey, what are you up to now?
Hey,
and then ask him like how much he weighs. For real. Although that's, I mean, two wrongs don't make right.
I know.
How old were you at that time?
Probably 16 or 17.
Oh my God.
Definitely an
Sarah,
it was one of those.
Why
18.
were you at a club?
Susie, I was already in college at 17. What am I going to do? Not go there?
Yeah.
What? I'm not.
Yeah, not go there.
No, I must have been because I had moved to Orange County or moved to San Francisco by the time I was like 19. So yeah, I was like 17, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm judging. Wow. The other takeaway is that you and I do not disagree anymore.
I know. I can't believe this. This is amazing. Do we even have a show? We're going to have to talk about something. Quick. What do we disagree on?
Well, like I just did. I said you shouldn't have gone to that club.
Oh, there we go.
How old was he? Was he 20?
Older.
Like young 20?
Yeah, young 20s. But like, what are you doing at like the 18 and over club? Like when you're 22.
You're a wee lass.
Yeah. Not me, him.
To the gal in a wheelchair on Instagram, welcome to online life, man.
Welcome to being hot. Sorry.
Yeah, just accept it. You're just a babe, and you're posting in lingerie, and we're only human.
Right, and you're going to have to start using those block words and stuff like that. You're going to have to.
She goes,
have to put up a filter.
I don't want to block all these people because I wouldn't have any followers left. Like, it's almost all of her followers are these fetishists, and
gross.
I'm just sort of like, okay, but so she says that if you block them all, then she wouldn't have any followers, and then that downgrades her in the algorithm. Well, you got to take the good with the bad, ma'am.
Yeah. No such thing as bad press, so kind of, I don't know. Maybe.
And then millennial pause. Just embrace it. Nothing wrong with being intentional.
Yeah, now start to look for it.
Yeah, on TikTok, if you see a gal like Sarah's age, I'm not millennial. I'm Gen X. We don't even know how the internet works. Like we're not pausing.
You
we're
start
not
with
shaking.
the camera facing the wrong way, and
we're doing those selfies where they're like from below.
Yeah, and then, hang on.
That's so sad and true. Any hoodles, you get the idea. We covered a lot of ground.
So much.
How great is our merch that Sarah has designed?
Well, we
like
are both drinking out of our mugs right now.
And the puzzle is the same design, and it is so hard and fun.
Yeah.
And it's just, you're such a talented woman.
Oh, thanks, Suze. I love our stickers.
That's obvious, but I do too.
And I
we have
feel
a lot
like
of great stuff.
The Can It sweatshirt is the one that we should be wearing in promotion.
Yeah, that's got to get more traction.
Yeah, for
you know
sure.
what? For real,
Can It. For goodness sakes.
And check out our Patreon for bonus content and all that jazz. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.